Welcome back to day 4 of sailing Kulali. So we've taken off a few bits and pieces off the motor, and today I'm going to open up the crankcase because there's a bit of corrosion inside there and we want to clean it up before we give this motor its first turnover. So this is the corrosion inside there, and so we're going to separate these two flanges. There should be a few bolts holding that together. It looks like this obviously supports the motor, so I'll put something underneath the sump to hold it up, and we'll probably have to disconnect a lot of the stuff that is holding on. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so we've got everything that we need disconnected, I think. We have the whole motor lifted up and on its sump, and we've got the lifting strap ready to pull this transfer case or this hydraulic case off. So let's do it. We'll unbolt each of these and go. Using a breaker bar. Oh, this one doesn't look very friendly. Alright, so all the bolts are out except this one, and so now I'm going to raise this up a little bit, take some of the slack off, let off that last bolt, and then see whether she comes out. Fingers crossed. Whoa. Silicone grease. that's the heat exchanger for the hydraulic oil. Pretty simple device. Nice. So we've got it separated. You can see light through the side of the engine itself and the, I'm going to call this the hydraulic pump output yoke case and clutch. Yeah. So now the only thing is this wire looks like it's pretty in line with this thing and I don't want to squish it. So I'm going to have to undo this just to give it a bit more room. And everything else looks like it should come out pretty well. This was a shit bolt, or crap bolt, sorry, because you couldn't really like get, see how you can't really get anything in there? So that was quite tough to undo, and that's why it's not out. It doesn't even want to come out. So I think that hose probably could be tilted more next time, or no, that's a hard fitting, so you couldn't. So that's a bit of a bad design, Sabb. 35-year-old engine, I don't think that's right. Far out. It's going to be a bit of work. Alright, so we got the engine split apart. Now, as expected, there's a little bit of corrosion because of the water that's been sitting in places. But a lot of it's not really. I mean, with this here, that's just the housing. It's like a cast part. That's the shaft. You'll definitely want to clean that up. But basically, you can see the seal around there. So as long as no water or anything got behind that seal, and look, that spins nice. Woo! So that's good. That means that's okay. And this is just 30, look, that's 34 years old. 34 or something, or 30 something. So smells old. But so we'll just clean that up. That's a nice housing. This is the clutch of the motor. So when we start it up, we probably don't even need to have that connected to that thing. That's just all crusty stuff. Yeah, so basically what I want to do is clean up all the rust and stuff. Might take off this flywheel. I don't know, it's not going to be too much of a problem. Clean it up and then put it all back together. Cool, but that's nice, we got it separated. So after a bit of cleaning, it's not too bad. Like that's, I mean, they say it's 7 mil of rust for every 1 millimeter of steel, and so far that doesn't actually look like it's corroded that much. So get some photos of the clutch because I might need to replace that, and then we're going to pull this off to have a look behind and clean the sealing surface off before we put it back together. That's the back of the clutch. I'm pretty sure that's the clutch. Yeah, it is. It is. Alright, so I gave it a few minutes with the WD-40. Now I'm going to try and crack one of these puppies. I reckon the crank's going to turn low, but we'll see. Yep. Bit dorky. So we've got to stop this crank from turning. How do you do that? What do you do to do that? I'm going to be dodgy and use the rattle gun. Apparently this is how you strip bolts. Alright, so I couldn't get it out, so I'm going to use this thing called a Rippack. I'm going to put some safeties on. So the idea is that I'm going to heat up the flywheel and hopefully just shock any of the corrosion that's in the bolts, because they don't seem to be coming out. Ugh, I hate using this thing. Woo, that's hot. Woo, it's on fire. I need to shield that somehow. Alright, so I'm going to let that cool a bit because that was probably pretty hot. Is that hot? Yeah, it's pretty hot. There's one. Yes. So yeah, they're pretty rusted. I'm going to give it a bit more WD-40, a little bit more heat before I do the next ones. Yes! So that's the flywheel of Kulali. So actually pretty happy. There's not much, like it's weird. Like look at that. Like it's like tree sap. But it all scrapes away. Look, bit of 34-year-old rust in your nose. Oh, smells. Right, so a bit of progress today. We've removed the two major components from each other, the engine from the clutch yoke control hydraulic thing. We've cleaned this up a little bit, still a lot to do. We've got to clean that gasket off. We've removed the clutch, that's the clutch, and the flywheel. No bolts have snapped so far, touch wood. And so you can see that that is a little bit dirty, but it should be okay. I thought, yeah, it should be okay. Clean this all up. Bit of paint. Might see if I can get a new seal for that. I'll have a look. So we'll clean all this up. Clean that up. Clean that up and that up. And then just check the seals. I might pull that off, have a look. Otherwise, I can pretty much put that back together. The engine seemed to be turning over fine. In terms of the actual engine itself, that there was no water in the head, no rust. So this is just an adapter plate that connects the marinization side of things, like the propeller adapter, to the actual engine itself. So I think this can just bolt off. So I'm going to try and take that off. Alright, so I've Y-wheeled with the back of the adapter plate. There's still some paint there, but it's alright. That looks like it's stuck pretty well. I used gun wash to strip back most of the stuff as well. So now I'll clean it off, mask off the important bits, like these dowels, and then do a coat of paint. Alright, so it's the end of day 4 of Kulali's build. So what we've done today, we've split the two major components, the engine and the transmission. We've ordered in a new rear end seal, which is $20, not so bad, because there's a bit of damage around that. So I'll pull that out when the new seal comes in, clean up that output shaft. Or sorry, flywheel shaft. This is the transmission housing. It's a lot cleaner than what it was. I'm just going to clean up in there as well and then paint that. The seal looks good there and everything spins really good. And I'll clean up the gasket. This is the flywheel. It's a lot cleaner now. I'm going to put it in the parts washer and also Y-wheel it a bit more. There's some corrosion on it, but not super significant. The clutch looks okay, and this is that adapter plate. The color didn't come out exactly the same, but it doesn't matter. So thanks so much for watching. See you next time.
Rippack.